There's a giant pickle jar was in my restroom, filled with water and some other things. This water represented a person without water, their water. Some sort of metaphor. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Quite simple. It's just water. Water in a container can be so many things. Water is so misunderstood. Fire gets all the glory, and rightly so. It does a lot of burning shit down and making it impossible to get away from what had happened. Water is a lot more powerful. You have the one person most subject to whatever the fuck cloud is on their head. And imagine a cloud over somebody's top of their head. Imagine that, because you need to, if you really are to get a grasp of this. And I had said the most true and violence form needed to convey that message by saying it just as I did. That is what I see. I see it had occurred before with someone else. Bada bing, bada bam. So what did you say? The truth of the water in the jar is this person would not attend to the water. They is supposed to be the one. The Scorpio is the sign for water. The Leo is the sign for fire. The Taurus is the sign for the earth. Aquarius is the sign for the man. Do you notice that these are all counted for? They are all there. One of them is in the not alive realm, but he's totally represented here and in picture form, probably large enough to do the work. You're going to have one of them in the not real world. The not real world is no, don't. Steve was a Taurus. Steve is held in respect. Steve has been identified to be capable of such activity. I guess I nominated him. What the fuck are you doing? There's something about these four elements. If you have them, if you put them together, look, I don't know. They're Ninja Turtles. They have the little bandanas over their face. Something very similar going on every fucking where you look. It is religious to some extent, but it's the zodiac, motherfucker. It's four fucking points in a circle. You get that shit locked down, you got a circle. The circles are good. Circles are nice. Squares? That's where your problems happen. There's a reason they square the circle. I'm not one of these fucking. It's not me. I'm not gonna give you any of that. I don't. That's not the where I'm coming from. But what are you doing in this? There is evolution or some sort of fucking class is going on. Everyone has their own version of it if they're in their own skin. The one candidate would not advance. Not only would not advance, would call you crazy and fuck with you over something that was necessary for them to see and not see. I literally had green lightning over the house. It was raining the lightning. The sky was green. That is not a good sign. The sky, lightning, told me not so many words. It didn't speak with a boom. It put it in my head, and it's not from me. It says, go down to that fucking river, get that dumbass friend of yours out of the river. She will die. I went down there. I took the shortcut. I murdered Snake along the way. I don't even know what sort of reality would normally have these activities like this. It was not normal. This motherfucker's been in the backwards class for a long time. Every attempt to point it out has not only failed, but made the person seem dumber. How do you point that out? And I'm doing it. I'm saying it. This is not a good sign. This is not a good sign. The time period for the class had expired. The choice that was made, it could be looked at in a very petty way, but it's also a very easy thing to see. And plus, if you're at the points of all the loops where all these interactions occur, you watch from the distance what occurs, you listen, You pay attention, you see someone fucking up in a way that you're not hip to. There are dumb people that aren't aware, and then there are people that are blind because something blinding them, something in them. They got demon. That's the only way. You don't even like saying that. I really don't. If something's, but this is more common. This is way more common in today's society than any other time. I don't want to sound. I'm gonna sound old timey as fuck, and there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. Some things have never changed. They ain't. They're not likely to. They're constants. There's a word for it. It's called extant. It means don't matter what the fuck you do, think, or say, it is. It also refers to older books with two definitions. That is a thing. Is the universe there? Is it there? It's there. Whether you fucking is there to see it or not, it exists. It's bigger than you. This is the first problem humans have a problem with because of our innate inability to reconcile with authority in any free of your ego sort of way. It always drags the ego through the shit. That's the first thing you learn. The ego's a fucking dumbass. It will always fuck you up and fight when it shouldn't fight. It's so petty. It should not be running your fucking computer head. I don't know what else to say. Now people choose this. They do. We have examples of it. Good example of this in human form was a guy that we knew, Mr. fucking banker dude. What was his name? Nick. Nick had this problem going on. He was it. There's no better human to, you know, represent it in this household because this guy was known. He knew him. I knew him. It was an encounter that you have with a human where there's something fucked up about it, and it's not good. It may be fucking upbringing. There's 100 things you could put it on, but sometimes this is where I'm breaking script. It's worse than all your ideas and thinking. Sometimes it is spiritual. That's where you actually get some other shit going on, and people are not comfortable with that shit. The idea of something that doesn't have form, puppet in your ass, is almost it's that's why they make horror movies about it. The Exorcist, that's not pleasant shit. Yet people are exorcised all the time. Apparently they got demons. Belief in demons is definitely the point on the fucking iceberg where it gets real. It's just the way it is. You want to fucking leave it to chance or whatever, that you can do that. But for me, I don't let it have a foothold. It's always looking for footholds. It uses them, and it grows like cancer does. Cancer kills you. Demons do the same. They're very similar. Uh, this isn't a topic I've had entertained in a while. Whatever I think inside of my head is whatever comes out of my mouth during stressful times of reconciling the in and out is mostly therapeutic. It is therapeutic. You have an intent to transmute it by speaking it out. Now, you can do this with yourself. You don't have to have anybody to listen to you. But when my dad was alive, which he is not, this is not some weird excuse. If I could talk, he could hear me talking, and he would react to that in a way that made it easier to be where he's at and him be. And this was thumbs up by him. Now, there was some phenomenon, and this has got to be subconscious bringing it up because it was, in fact, little sister. He was hearing conversations occur either between me and her
and they weren't us because we wasn't there. And this is the first time some sort of phenomenon of that was ever mentioned or entertained. It did not go further, but what do you got there? Well, that would be some form of evidence to where I did not set out to go at all. Was not even in my mind. It came up very fast. Was the reason for my talking to myself in that way was totally based on caring for my dad. He would hear me, he would know where I was at, and he would be able to communicate in whatever way. Now, he not having his voice could still communicate using his nah, 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 and he would do that, and I would come and he would check and see if I could hear him because he got in a pickle once. In fact, he nearly died. I don't know if he had his larynx out yet or not, but he was hanging out with this lady. I was avoiding him. It was so he had a old lady girlfriend that was sort of bad, Renee. Renee was kind of crazy, so if you needed to be getting away from Renee, that would be what I would be doing. And was doing it in my room, playing my guitar, had headphones on, was not a bit aware. There wasn't any real situational awareness that would have me have that level of awareness on. And that's the opportunity that was taken by whatever faulty perforated part of his ulcer that decided it was going to burn all the way through and start to kill him. He was trapped against the wall in his bedroom in there, and he couldn't. He was calling Heather Bird, who did come. She was coming to get some smoke. So she was part of the not letting him die, which mostly was me. I'd done it more than once, but that was where I didn't do it. And the one would have slipped through, got you. That's what demons do. That's their bread and butter. The foothold they can do to fuck you, they will do it. They don't fuck around with you thinking it's some sort of weird. They're doing it. They do it. And in fact, the whole problems in the body are all connected to problems that exist that give grounds to these things. That's real backwardsy. I don't know what to tell you about it other than it is. How many people are ashamed of some shit, not able to reconcile it, and it turns into some sort of shit is documented galore. There's no reason to even. There is reason. It's been a long time since I opened it up. We just gonna attack our own belief system? No, we're gonna audit it. Why not? That's probably healthy. And we're going to wash the clothes. Having this wonderful shirt with this chili on it looks dirty and should be clean. Well, get her done. One of the side effects or wins demonic entities can have and make use of quite often is your inability to believe that they are doing shit. This is a great problem if you have the conditions that it could flourish. Now, I'm not about fucking around in some fucking really dumbass area. I'm not poltergeist hunter. I've experienced weird shit. I don't know where on the spectrum I find. It's probably not a bad idea to audit it. It's been long enough. I've gained so much new information. I'm not even happy with the church. I haven't lost anything. I feel like I'm still a member of something. That's a good sign. Where's it left you? Well, without any real standards of weaponry in the fight that's basically necessary. You've got all kinds of hippie forms of shit that's not really
That's what I want to hear you say. You just fucking, well, thank you, inner self. What do you want me to say? You want me to bullshit you? Your pyramids, what are they doing? Are they fighting monsters? Maybe not. Well, they could. Why aren't they? That's a damn good question. Most of the shit I do have is able to do these things. I use incense mostly. I'm set to a limit of them. I limit it in whatever the fragrance may be, and pretty robotic in that. I've got the frequency sticks. I fuck with them, but they not really being used for that at the time. In fact, they probably need to change from where they're at into more useful. They are fucking useful, but you got to have them in both your hands, not on the ends of your fucking stick because it's fucking geometrically soothing or whatever reasoning I've got it as I do because it's out there in the freezing cold. Ain't doing me no good. That's a test. That one fails. Useless. They ain't doing you shit. Now, this is the sort of way you need to look at stuff like this because if you ain't using it or it ain't activated for years and years, I've been studying and listening to all these fucking magical texts. I believe in it, but I'm different. Oh shit, you got excuses? No, 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 no. I'm gonna give you what I do while I audit it. I'm gonna look and see without the what is it? If you have the inspector coming, the OSHA people from federal government, you have a company, you got to cover your ass. You do shit in a fake way to make sure that your ass is covered and they don't find you. This is not the reality of the demonic world. If it gets you, you die, and maybe worse. They want you. What are they? They're schizophrenia, energetic beings that somehow eat your negative energy. They eat the shit out of it, makes them strong. The shit they do to the crazy people, who it's very sad. Actually, a whistleblower blew the whistle and found. Can you remember his name? Oh, he's now very well known. The first time I heard this guy tell his story, and this guy didn't come from no bullshit ass indoctrinated belief. He was skeptical. That's healthy. Ask questions. Fucking check shit out. Don't be a bitch ass motherfucker that hides the results. There's too many of those people in both religion and science. Science got real religion. That's a fact. Now that's the problem with us humans. We like to lean into so hard and just not be burdened with the war. It's war. And it's from day one of your life to the end of the day. Some people are not aware of it. It puts them at great risk. It basically lets them be overshadowed. That is not a good state. Tell somebody that they're that and then give a description. They're not going to like you saying that shit because if you say it's accurate, you're telling them the truth. Truth like that is not your friend. It is a warful sword slashing all fucking things that are lies, not giving a fuck. And that's currently the season we're in. That's why we got Trump. Bullshit aside, that's why people like what he's doing. And that's because there's a reason for it. People are suffering from their own bullshit because in their nature, it is in the lower side's nature. If I can do a thing and I can get away with it, I will do a thing and get away with it. More people are actually animals than we like to admit. That makes the world not look so sane. Well, welcome to swords. Swords will cut the shit out of the reality. You can paint the picture, you can make your happy place, but if you're smelling ass, if you're eating ass, you can't really pretend you're not eating ass. It's in your face. You're eating ass. It's something like that was said, and that's the basic truth of it. Demons will be straight to the ass. You can't pretend it's a banana and sucking dick. You ain't going to no happy place. They're all about removing it. That is the nature of it being fucked up. Now, in the energetic realm, there are beings that do not have the same physical form that we do, but are very real. It's very strange because we're not. I would wonder, a demon gets inside of you. What has he got? A fucking little apartment room? Is he chilling and shit? Is he? What are they doing? We're not aware. We don't know. We don't have that awareness that we can correlate. I've tried. I've wondered. I got nothing. I can't perceive it. All I get is a bunch of fucking beings in a fucking horrible hell that somehow find their way into someone's body, and it ain't easy. They fight for it. It's their life. So in the condition that is schizophrenia, where they're not doing any research, they've closed the books, a lot of money involved to the tune of $14 billion, very lucrative type of money, above what I could talk about. I would see it being an incentive. They give these people these drugs. These drugs fuck your brain all to hell. They render the person basically fucked up because they toxic to your brain. Everything that we were told about chemical imbalance, that's a lie. They have never once fucking identified the brain chemicals in any sort of fucking way to point at. They don't do a test. No one's ever got a test and had their brain chemicals and levels checked. It's all bullshit. It is like, this is the way the medical industry bull fucking dozes its way through and just feeds us all bullshit. And a lot of times it's way later in our life before we find this out. I wasn't looking for this when I found this out. I was appalled. I was very disturbed by it. Well, so was this guy. So this guy goes to work at the most largest fucking psychiatric unit in the world, which at the time was in Georgia. This giant fucking miniature hell. And in some area of it, they house these schizophrenic people. Well, what does he find out about them? Well, apparently, the description of a schizophrenic patient is someone who is subject to some sort of chaotic behavior and not true at all. They are dialoguing with something that is clearly not any sort of random. It's negative. It's telling them to do fucked up shit exclusively. It can be seen. You're not allowed to talk to them about it. You're not allowed to ask them what the voices say. There are voices saying shit. These people are engaged because something is inside of them. The man discovered that they're demons. Cut the bullshit inside. What do you know about demons that we've heard from our fathers in the past? That they are real. They are something. Now, if you put all the other bullshit aside of what the fuck is a demon and where would they come from, you still have them. They infect people. This class of mental patients have them. So this guy wants to do some research he's not allowed to do. Starts asking questions to his patients. Starts looking for shit, finding stuff out, correlating with someone else that knew about it. A lot of the women that were doing the same profession as he was in were well aware of it. One of them even suffered from it when she was younger and got out of it. It's not a final destination. It's an easy fix. It's the sad thing. These things can be combated quite effectively, and just that you need somebody to guide you through it. So there, this sort of shit is happening now. Now you're not going to hear that on the news. This guy's got all kinds of stories. He wasn't looking for it. These motherfuckers. So you don't do what they say, which is bad. You like go stab dude with a pencil. Crazy shit like Son of Sam, kill fucking people. That ain't coming from nowhere. People do hear voices that tell them to do shit, and they doing this shit. It sounds crazy to us because we ain't hearing voices telling us to do shit. Unless you are, then maybe you need to get somebody to help you. Now, I have had an experience where I was told some shit, but it is not of that caliber at all. It involves a cold day, being at grandma's house, sitting in my car, not wanting to sit in my car, wanting to go in the warm fucking ass house. What happened? Well, a voice told me, go to the back porch. There's a jar on the back porch table. There's a rag in the jar. Under the rag is the key. Well, what do you think? I'm fucking like shocked. I don't know what to think about it. I don't dismiss it. I go and look. Yeah, there's a fucking key. I don't know what to say. Grandma wants to know how the fuck I got in the house. How'd you get in here? The house was locked. God told me where the key was. This was not any sort of crazy conversation to her. My uncle has this conversation too, and they're well into having it on dinner table, whatever. Now I had one uncle, my uncle Larry. He's not with us. This guy, not a lot of people have any experience with things of faith. It's kind of entered into a very hokey phase. I can't even watch some of the shit I see being presented because they make it's like they're doing the worst disservice at all because they end up making people look crazy, which they didn't need help doing that either. I let you smell my hand, which is continually changing its smell. I scratch my butt, I touch stuff, smoking weed, I'm rolling it now. I don't know what you get out of it, but you like it and you're quiet. This isn't something I would normally do. This is an advanced me. I was almost in a whole nother place. If I heard that, it would be fucking me up. But it doesn't. I don't know what. But see, this is what I'm saying. There's something that is way more intelligent than me that through effort of my own, I've clawed into relationship with. Now it's nothing I've got to I can't point to it. It introduced itself to me inside my head. It's this is what you get from that area. The downside is the demonic. These beings are not helping you find your keys at all. In fact, they're accessing every fucking memory you have and poking you with it if it's not good, because then your body is giving them some sort of energy. The guy watches the energy depletion in his patients clearly. Something's sucking energy out of them. What's going on with that? Well, energetic realm. Energy realm. Not a mystery. Actually, a lot of text describes it all. A lot of energy inside of your body. You were made of energy. Did you know that? One of another phenomenon of energy is intelligence, in case you didn't know. And guess what? It's all around you, baby. This is true. The worldview I have is not uh it's not along the lines that is currently able to be accepted by science. This is changing rapidly, but you're often alone. A lot of times you are. If you're doing any work that is required, and if you have any rapport with that world, which is invisible, you're going to have something on your side or guiding you, or you're not going to fucking make it. It's not going to be good for you. I don't know even what happened. Whenever I was like 5 years old, the level of psychic the kid I was freaked my parents out to so much of a degree. I have no memory of it. I heard what they told me. I recognized that's pretty crazy. I would tell them everyone that was calling when the phone rang, everyone that would come to the door, I had access to that information. I had no problems giving it to them, screaming it to them. I don't even remember my parents being together. Not one fucking day of my life do I have a memory from that time. Maybe before 5 years old. There are periods of time whenever, due to society and such, now you got to look at the way people act and treat each other. This is the biggest sign to what is going on. It does take some oomph for you to enter into that sort of activity because you have to have something to stand on that doesn't present itself. That's the funny thing about the spiritual world being the source of this world. Is it is. Everything that is emanates from there. It's not easy to point out to someone that doesn't have that. Your goal per Christianity was always to go and show this to other people. But Jesus told you to go and do this. And I do believe that there is an activity that is occurring in that, go and do it. I told you to do it, do it. It puts you in a service that if you are capable of doing it, you fucking do it. You are it. You don't change that. You couldn't no more convince me of something that I could dismiss. This it would not going to be possible. It's not. A lot of the chaos in the world is simply human beings not recognizing their full potential. There's all kinds of floors on the building of man that is occupied by other shit, and mostly at our own demise. A lot of times our government opens these sort of fucking doors and causes people to be affected by them, and they don't give a fuck. There's all kinds of fucked up shit. But when you see that it is, it's almost it's almost free to some degree. But you recognize something's going on. It's on par with the aliens. In fact, I would not suspect anything but a direct connection. So what are you fucking saying here? Fucking aliens. In a lot of cases are demons. So what is these entities? Well, the traditional belief is that the Nephilim, these giants that were some sort of beings that were created. Now it is no longer as easy to talk this talk in the manner I am in the atmosphere because of some change in my awareness. To get somewhere, I have not yet found the way. I'm finding it is there. It just has to be discovered because I am in agreement with the one that sent me the message I did not deliver. I like the message. I did not deliver it. I not find it necessary to do that yet. If you have this view, it can cause you problems and it can give you solutions. Sometimes people will be able to be spoken. You can have demons talk to you through people. Happens every day. They will talk shit to you. The person will not know. They'll not even be aware that they even said something. This is way more common. People don't like to talk about shit like that because it freaks them out. The possibility that you don't have control of your faculties mostly disturbs people. The idea that there's plenty of area to get some fucking advancement is very troubling to most men, most of mankind. It's not a good thing to look at mankind in any form of lack as the problem or without mercy. A lot of times there's a reason that you may not know it. There's plenty of good ones to pick from of why the door can be fucking shut or altered or whatever. That don't stop the demons though. The one thing about them is they're always the same. They're not very creative. They're very parasitic and they're real. They basically will manifest as mental disorder, with all the exception being they tell you to kill yourself and hope you do. I don't know what sort of credits they get. If you're in somebody and you die, what happens to you? Well, they get a win. They're not doing it for nothing. They mostly keep the people that they are oppressing in the weakest of states, usually hospitalized where no one will take them seriously, and totally like they will become so loud when the person needs to go to sleep In their head, they're torturing them, yelling the most obscene shit. And with the penchant for being able to go through your mind, to rummage through the files is terrifying. For them to have access to all your memories puts them in a very advantageous position. And if they ain't got nobody on their side, well, what's to stop them? Well, there is the other side. There is a whole host of beings. I don't know what they are. I have theories. I'm very well aware. I've had interactions with myself, so I know that they are real, but they don't fuck with you. The entities that are good are not allowed to do anything unless you ask them. If you need help, you have to ask them. They will watch you burn and do nothing because if you don't ask them, they're not allowed to do it. Because demonic entities don't care what you want. Surprising, surprise, surprise. This is the war front. It's your will. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want for yourself? What would you like to do today, sir? I'd like to have an opportunity to choose. Well, great. That's a freedom that's very luxurious. That's very dipped in blood. It does cost a very heavy price to combat the war in the unseen world, which has never stopped, ain't nothing but got worse, and is getting worse by the day. Every person that won't see or doesn't believe and is hostile becomes resident to entities that are multiple than one and very difficult to even understand, and sometimes so willing to fuck their fucking host up that you hear the movies, the pukes, the walking up the walls. They do all kinds of shit. They tried to fucking zap this dude for talking to the people. They didn't want him talking to these. They don't like. We don't like. They want me to tell you that you need to stop talking to me. They don't like you. This guy that he's engaged in, um, was on the edge of being basically a zombie. He was walking around in it. They told him to go shank his ass. And when he found out, he's like, why didn't you do it? I couldn't get no one to give me the shank. So he's snapping aware of what he's dealing with, being something that is so in control of the being that they've inhabited. They're not guests. They're not doing you. They're like in your house and they're tearing it all to hell and talking shit to you. The demons. I don't know what it presents itself. I have a yearning to understand that though. I have a big gap in my ability to imagine what is going on with their uh, relative relativity to space. I don't know why that's something that is fascinating me or disturbing me. If you want to, thousands can be in you. You could be fucking festered. There's a weird collective nature to them that we find in evil a lot. A hive mind in evil. What do you think about that? You can get it with insects and it's not as evil, but you can see where it could get creepy. They all know the same shit. They can communicate across distances. They're here. Now the theory says that they were the giants. They have no function of cause of reality, so they are trapped in the world of the no longer living, not able to leave or go nowhere because they're not authorized to be alive. What a pickle! And they're not happy, and they're pissed off. And demons don't like humanity. Spoiler alert: humanity is the real estate of the spiritual war. To inhabit a square is to get in someone's fucking business. A lot of people are so, and it could be indirect control. You can have someone that is not really good, evil, totally demonic, telling someone else shit to do, suggesting and whatever control. You see a controlling spirit, you're not able to not see it. It's all into all kinds of business that has no business being in. This is one of the earmarks of a spirit doing it, not the human. They don't think like humans think. Sure, they have your thoughts, they can access that, but that's where the fucking game stops. You got a lot of work to get. They're ancient and have all kinds of knowledge and are fucking evil. They want you destroyed. There are cases where people that were on real bad drugs would have a demon tell them where to go. Somebody would appear and give them drugs. They would be able to do crimes and shit like that with demonic assistance. And the person was never really aware of why it was that way, why this is possible. Why am I getting free drugs from some guy that drops them off when my voice in my head tells me demons? Because that's useful to them. It's in their ability to do that. You heard of they don't they have powers that are supernatural. They try to kill the guy. They send some spark ball at him, and they displayed their fucking abilities, freaked him out because he didn't think that they could harm him or do anything. He was not correct. They can kill you. They have, I don't know. It's not totally free of you get your ass fucking fucked up or dead is a reality. It can happen. But the real extreme cases that would cause people to notice this is being covered up by scientists because of money. What do you know? Scientists are aiding demons because they love money? Well, basically, you're not allowed to interview or do research on schizophrenics. It's not allowed. You can't go in a hospital and ask questions and do research. It's not possible. That seems very strange, right? Then all these other areas of mental disease, they have research and they're looking for cures. They're not looking for cure here. I suspect they know. Guy found out. He wasn't allowed to find out, but his curiosity got the best of him. He broke the fucking rules. Now he's trying to share the wealth of the knowledge. He has put together some very basic things that he found were signs because if they're not random and intelligent, they're not going to be chaotic all over the place. They're actually capable of stuff. They can think and organize. You know, the first clue he said, he's like, I'd be watching these people talking on, having a conversation, and it just reminded me of seeing somebody on the phone. Surely they were talking on the phone. Someone's talking and responding back. I mean, yeah, you don't have to have a phone. These motherfuckers, they're calling you from the hell's world. Unfortunately, it's direct because it's in your head. It isn't pretty. The fact that there is a world like that, it requires a band aid to even go into, even in here. What has happened though? The intelligencer, boss man, whatever is the guiding light, has put upon me this awareness of all of the implications of the words. Didn't previously exist, but now I'm very sensitive to it because I don't want. I don't know. I don't know if I have a want. It feels like its responsibility has fell upon me. That's a little bit of a psychological weight. It's not without any merit, though. It's not something that will destroy you or leave you crazy just because you don't understand it. It's a lot easy to understand when you begin to try to do something like that. But it is not of your normal nature. The invisible world is clearly a world that's going on. All kinds of shit all the time. Some people have to see it. That would not be something I'd want to do. But, what are we dealing with? We're dealing with an area that where science isn't comfortable doing very much research. They don't like what they find, they get freaked out, and they beat each other up if they do it. That's not healthy. It doesn't lead to any real answers and is currently abusing millions and millions of people in the form of hospital. That's like a win for Demon World, period, because that's a contract that they are occupying and have kept going. Somebody knows and has agreed to it and is taking money. It's just like any other corruption. It's fucked up. So when you see something like this, if it touches your life, if it affects somebody where you see somebody that you know and you know how they are, and then they get taken over, you're affected. You take it personal. And when something like that happens that you could take personal like that, it changes your view of the world. And somebody that really cares about people, if they're genuine and they're not just playing fucking the role of pretend to be, fake it till you make it, they would be very sensitive to this. And they've mostly calloused over and have certain words they throw out that allows them to defend against it. Sadly, this is mostly on the left side because they're open to being sympathetic to mankind. So, ergo, they're totally corrupt and not doing that at all, except in a fake way that's not even able to withstand what's going on with the situation in the politics. That is a very fucking fucked up situation. It is. It provides you a sense of the work needing to be done. That if you're doing it, you're doing it, and it sucks. It sucks because people are not able to engage into something that they're not able to have enough interest in. I'm sorry, I don't want to believe in your fucking boogeyman. Well, okay, I accept your terms, and I'm. The problem is, this is exactly what they want. It's darkness they like. It's not being able to be seen. They do best. Devil. Now, I don't think the devil is a being per se. I don't think there is a Satan. I'm not sure about the spirits in the hierarchy that run Devil Town, but they are real. They're mostly known. They have been encountered. They're definitely powerful and not to be fucked with, and people be fucking with them every day, just fucking around. A lot of the technology that is going on is related to them. Don't be fooled. They are high tech as fuck. They are spaceships. There are a lot of things we don't understand. And all this talk about different portions of the society fighting with each other and all that bullshit that Cliff Hyatt said earlier today is bullshit. Because he didn't say one true thing. That the fucking technology, it doesn't matter what you're gonna fucking religion or whatever compartment you need to be withheld the technology, it is consciousness that runs it. The religion is the fucking technology. Spoiler alert. It is a mental phenomenon. It is a mental application of reality that pre-exists our existence. It is. You don't get to operate a spaceship with a fucking steering wheel, buddy. You're hooked up in your mind. You gotta fly it with your mind. You gotta be good at that shit. You gotta know it's a different sort of thing. And it is. Because you are a spaceship. Yeah. Star tetrahedron, motherfucker. You are the spaceship. You can turn that thing on. You get that tetrahedron on your top side pointed up. You get that other one. You can do it with your mind. It's a bitch. You can do it. You can start to rotate it. You can activate that motherfucker. And the goddamn military will then come fuck with you because they're tracking it. Real shit. Everyone knows it. That's done it. You get the black helicopters start flying around. They're looking at it. They're seeing it. They're engaged. So what's the position of the fucking government on those things? They're already involved. They're deeper involved. They can't tell you that they've been lying to you because people don't want to hear that. You see, it's that simple. You've been lying to people for 70 years. You've been bullshitting. You've steadily amassed your own at the expense of the taxpayers. Well, thank goodness they're finally going through the shit because it takes a lot of money to get this shit. And you can't buy a spaceship. You can't buy it. You can't purchase a fucking spaceship. The misunderstanding is involved in the disconnect that there is some sort of object separated The phenomenon of our existence incorporates the technology. That's where the spiritual fucking secret societies go. You find out this is the case. This is why no one's cracked it open. And it's very select. Because three motherfuckers meditating, form of ship, and fly around all the goddamn time. Maybe they're fucking from the inner earth. Who gives a fuck? It is. It is happening. It's a reality. It's not one people are able to digest. This is part of the problem and why they say, "Oh, people aren't going to understand." People, no, they're not. Not the way you're trying to feed it to them. Because what is required for government to keep its goddamn training wheels on everybody's fucking shit is the training wheels is them disconnecting and involving themselves in it. It is not a part of the spaceship. Is government. Spoiler alert. You ain't getting it registered. You ain't getting a license. You gonna have to be required to operate it a different way. Every technology is spiritual that is worth a fuck. You got a piece of metal craft, low tech. You got a light craft, high tech. We're already fucking compliant. All you got to do is the work, and it's a little bit of work, but you rapidly see that there's something there that changes you enough to not want to be flying around, fucking around, unless you got some business. Shit, this is true. This is true. This worldview is brought to you by whatever audit. Motherfucker audited himself. What did he find? Spaceship. It's in my video. Look at it. It says we are the technology. I told you this in the damn channel heading. This is where it goes. This is not really where people are ready to go. I'm not fully ready to be there. I'm also going in the pace where other people are part of the thing. We all go together. I don't want to sound all QE and shit. I think they're fucking retards every time I hear where one go, we all go. I don't know why I think that just burns me up every time I hear something about that. I don't know why. Not a Cuba. Not really. I don't know what about it triggers me wrong. You think the fucking left is crazy only? The right's got plenty of crazy shit that they do, and it is crazy too. The difference is that they're not shoving it down everybody's face. Most of the people don't even know, but it's there. It's just not currently being used as a weapon against humanity. That's a bit of a difference. These politics are the most fucked up modes of putting yourself in a position to not understand and not be able to understand and not even be able to be communicated to is the difficult thing. When you want to communicate to somebody that's mentally ill and you try to do it and you get fucking attacked by a mob of fucking enablers or safe space screamers, you realize something's going on. There's something going on here that's against these people and not you. The right is not coming for you. The far right extremists don't exist. That's how you fuel that type of spaceship. It's fueled with fear. You need to have fear every day. They're afraid of everything. That's no way to live. And they're not even really able to digest reality at all. Everything shocks the shit out of them. You get so dissociative from that, it's like an anti psychic state. It's not where you want to go. Nothing about that end goal fits victory to what I understand. And mind you, the guy that handed me the letter, it doesn't exist to be a fucking guy, was sending it to person here. I failed to deliver the letter because I failed to deliver the letter. I didn't know how to get it. And you know what cost it? The spirit that summoned it. How do you deal with shit like that? You do. You aware. You become more aware and you grow. You might grow little invisible tendrils into every place, every nook and cranny of your environment, and will be alive with it. I don't know what to say. It's kind of phenomenal. It's a different approach. It's not normally where people's thinking goes. It's not even normally allowed, actually. The shit they used to do to people that were left handed, they would hit you with a stick and force you to be right handed for many years. There are so many dumbass ways and things that have been done, mostly by a Catholic church administering school, because you know how they do it. They hit you with a fucking stick, tell you not to do the thing, don't do the thing, you do the thing, we're hitting. It's always been by the point of the sword. They ain't never brought religion legit. Call them out for that shit. You come into the New World and you did all that shit to the Indians? And no, I don't see nothing godly about that. Whatever I know to be God has got nothing to do with that. And is. It still is. And it's very sad that the view of Sky Daddy persists because that ain't it. That's closer to what the devil actually is. The devil who is in some sort of fucking arrangement to the earth to have its systems. The devil administrates the systems of the world, and they do us much harm. They are not anything but the evil ones. They're made in every way to like you put something false or counterfeit over something that is. That's the modus operandi of the evil one, which is a thing. It's a fucked up thing. But mostly, if you are doing the fucked up work against mankind, whether you're aware of it or not, you're playing that game and you're on that team. And ignorance is not an excuse. It's convenient. It's bliss. You don't want to see that world if you don't have any experience in what the fuck it is. That's number one. People are not going to want to see spiritual world shit without context. We mostly have a brain that is protected against that. That's why we don't see all the colors of light and shit. Sorry, this is the longest goddamn rant I ever did. This is the audit of your bullshit beliefs, updated today and looked at in the mirror of the phone as it continues to go. This fucking phone is brought to you by a bullshit unknown corporation, and they jam crammed it with a bunch of memory. That's one benefit it's got. You got a bunch of memory in a phone that can't really get any internet because the network shit is buggy. And don't turn it off because you ain't likely to turn it back on because there ain't no way to do it. They made the turn on button wrong. They sure did. And never figured it out. Not yet. The instructions tell you, it tells you there's another memory card slot I ain't found. And there ain't a headphone jack where the fucking dot on the map points to. I don't know what that's about. Kind of not professional. But, it is a lot better in a lot of other ways. You bought a bullshit phone. I did.